had 8 auditions at the end of the day. It took me a long time, more than most people.
It was about 8 auditions. That was my first role as well. One of my first auditions, I had been taking a commercial workshop class with a casting director named Katie Wallens, and I actually had just quit and decided I was moving back home. I had only been in Los Angeles for about 6 months, and when I got home, Katie Wallens, also an acting coach that I had met the night before I left, I had reached out to my parents and was like, you need to come back. And then I go back, and that week Katie Wallens was like, you need to come in here and audition, because I was a gymnast. And so I went and auditioned, and I think we went through 8 auditions. And we were paired up together right away with Walter, and from what I remember, yeah. And then I got my first gig, and honestly it was like, okay, and we didn't realize the show was going to be popular until an entire year after that, because we shot the pilot, and then we got picked up, and then we shot, I don't know, 50 episodes. We would shoot like 2 episodes a week or something. And then the show came out that September, and then it was like right before Christmas that it was just like this big phenomenon, and nobody knew it was going to be that big except for maybe Haim Saban. And then there you go, and it was non-union. It was wild. It was really, really wild.
Yeah, and you mentioned the popularity of the show. Obviously, it spans generations. It's global. Everyone still loves it. But me as a kid, I remember all of the merchandise, right? Like in school, everyone had the backpacks, and Halloween, everyone wanted to be a Power Ranger. When did you realize it was a huge deal? Like, was there a moment when you went, this is a big deal? We're onto something huge here.
I think there was a few moments. For me, it was sitting on the bus or whatever we were driving in to go to do our Universal Amphitheater show, and we were stuck in the same traffic of all the people trying to get off the 101 to go to the show. And then we ended up having 4 shows that day or something like that.
7 almost.
7 shows in a giant amphitheater that had like 3,000 people or something.
6,000.
The whole thing gave me nightmares. So that was sort of like, oh, this has become quite popular. I think more so for me, I don't know, it's been in the last 10 years that I did actually understand how popular it really was. And I think it's been really fun in the last couple of years to revisit the franchise in a different way than just Comic-Cons, through David doing Once and Always, and then you just did the last season of Power Rangers, and then I'm doing my comic book, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Return. I don't know if you know, but it's like out now. 2 issues are out, the 3rd issue is coming out. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, but just like coming back in a different way for me as a writer, for you as an actor in your 40s. But it's been really, I think, almost like a love letter in a lot of ways, the comic book, for me. I don't know, what was your experience going back to the franchise and going back to the show? Especially with what you went through when you were on the show.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a lot of fun for Walter and I to get to go back and do Once and Always. Hopefully you all watched it and that you enjoyed it. I hear mostly good things. There's a few people that didn't like it, but it's okay.
There's always those.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun because Walter, we started the franchise 30 some years ago, and so it was fun to go back and reprise our roles and see where they've come in their life and have them in a different light. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess going back a little bit though, like I guess for me, understanding how big the phenomenon is I guess sort of piggybacking on to what Amy Jo is saying. It's like I still struggle sometimes to realize what the effect the show has had on so many people. But the fact that we're sitting in Scotland right now is kind of it's bizarre because it's such a worldwide global thing. And I'll go to Brazil, and the Brazilians love Power Rangers, and they're just crazy in a good way. And it's just, sometimes we have to step back and just go, wow, this is really an amazing experience for us because you guys are so kind and so generous, so loving. We get so much love that it's overwhelming in a good way.
It's almost like this weird, I don't know if this makes any sense, but sometimes it feels like free karma, like positive karma or something, because it was not my intention when I went to audition for that role and getting that role and doing the show to have an impact on so many kids and have that influence so much, like just the stories that you hear of how we were friends to people when they were younger because parents were divorced or they were bullied at school or whatever it was they were going through, and we were their buddies and their pals, is like this really cool blessing that we had kind of no idea was happening at the time.
Right, and I mean, it's super humbling, as Amy Jo was saying, for us to understand, like, you know, the show meant so much to people, and you guys, some people became martial artists or gymnasts or dancers because of Power Rangers. Obviously, like Amy Jo was saying, a lot of people didn't feel like they had friends, so they could look to us and they felt like they had friends. So it's an awesome, humbling thing. So thank you all. We appreciate you very much.
It's really
Round
like,
of applause for the fans, you guys. And I'll tell you what,
honestly,
Aberdeen,
really
you meet
cool.
some of the nicest people here, but there's so many memories from the show, and it's a very empowering show as well. But I have to ask, what is it like to be reunited with the cast at Comic-Con? So there's two of you here, but I know we've met, like Reggie and a few of the other ones have come here before. What's it like to meet, to
We don't
reunite
know
with the rest
Reggie.
of the cast?
We don't know who Reggie is.
No?
Reggie's not our cast.
He's
I know the original cast, and then I
Yes.
know the second slew of people like Karen and Johnny Young Bosch, who's gone on to do some really cool stuff with his voiceovers, and then you do a lot of cons with Walter, and
Yeah.
then our dear friend Jason, who just passed away, that rocked our worlds. He's like family. That's the thing about doing a show, I think, is the friendships that you get. Like David, you're like family to me. Like one of my closest friends that I have, and that's been almost 35 years now.
Pretty crazy, yeah. I don't have a lot of friends that I've known that long, that I keep in touch with the way that we keep in touch. So that's cool. And I mean, I think the fact that Comic-Cons exist help us stay together. I'm saying, like with Walter and Austin and Jason David Frank before he passed, like that was a way for us to stay connected, because I think a lot of TV shows you just move on and you don't really ever talk to those people again, but because of Comic-Cons it helps us, I don't know, we're just
Unless you
always
put
together.
like the effort into it.
Yeah.
Like we go on vacations and stuff.
Yes. And she yells at me.
What?
She yells at me.
Don't say that.
Why not? let's
I
get-
have things to
let's-
say too.
Okay, easy, Tiger.
Oh, we've struck a nerve here. No, it's great to see you
No,
guys. It's
no,
very
you just
special
knows
that
way
you're both
too much.
together here. But I have to ask, what are you guys